Hello and welcome to the Duluth News Tribune's Bulldog Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Wellens, the Bulldogs hockey beat reporter at the News Tribune. Zach Schneider is on assignment this week. I'm going to joke that he's checking with our lawyers to make sure we aren't liable for anything from the end of last week's episode with future K-9 officer Gabby Kraus. Go check out that episode from last week if you missed it. Just don't do anything we talk about at the end of the podcast. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. This week on the podcast, we're joined by a pair of defensemen from Hermantown, now manning the Bulldogs blue line. Welcome to the podcast, Joey Pierce.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate you having us.
First time we had you on here, Joey. Thanks for being on. And back again, Aaron Pionk. Hi, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Special night coming up on Saturday at Amsoil Arena when you guys host the series finale against Western Michigan. Not just because of that beautiful 5 o'clock start. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but
mixed feelings.
Old people, mixed feelings for you guys. Old people like myself and Zach with kids, we love the 5 o'clock start. Saturday's Adam Johnson Memorial Night. There's a lot planned. I'm going to run through quick everything that's going on. Shout out to Karen Pionk for sending this stuff out. This is Monday morning. She got it out right away. Perfect timing, Karen, that I could plug all this on the podcast. We got Hibbing, Chisholm, Little Chippers on Saturday. Do you guys have any fond Little Chippers memories growing up?
I never played it. Just watched a bunch of it.
You didn't know Little Chippers experience for you, huh?
I don't think so. I don't know. I have to ask my parents, but I don't think I ever
did. You have to ask your parents. If you don't. Joey, did you have any?
No Little Chippers for me.
No Little Chippers for you either. Not even at Ely. Huh? Hoagie, as well as two of Adam's former teammates, Avery Peterson and we call him Bulldog Insider podcast legend Parker Mackay, are dropping the ceremonial first puck. Hoagie was already going through how that was going to work in the press box this last weekend during the women's series against the Gophers. He's got it all planned out. Don't worry, Avery and Parker. There's an online silent auction that's going to be going live by the time everyone is listening to this. It's going to include pro jerseys of Carson Soucy, Carson Kuhlman, Riley Tufte, and others. You guys are going to be wearing special jerseys as well that night in warm-ups that'll be auctioned off. The cool thing about these jerseys, they were designed by one of Adam's former teammates, former Bulldog Kyle Osterberg, which is cool. I'm curious to see what Kyle came up with. The first 1,000 fans are going to receive a commemorative Adam Johnson t-shirt, and the first 3,000 are getting a memorial 5x7 Adam Johnson card. So again, thanks to Karen Pionk for getting that information to all of us in the media. Guys, since Adam died, what's been interesting from my perspective is the connection he's had between a lot of you guys at Hermantown. Darian Goetz told us on the podcast last year about being babysat by Adam, which was a lot of fun. Joey and Aaron, how well did you know Adam, and what kind of impact did he make on your lives? Aaron, I know he had a significant impact on yours.
Yeah, no, Adam was he was like another big brother for me. I had a lot of them like that, but he lived with me in college for 2 years, and I slept on their couch for a couple of those nights. And so I got to know him really well, and he also played with my brother in Sioux City and juniors as well. And so probably 3 or 4 years straight, I was watching Adam play. And so we just got super close with them, and my brother was best friends with him. So we watched a couple of his pro games as well. We went out to Wilkes-Barre Scranton a couple of times and stuff like that. So just a super good family connection with them, and got to know him very well and watch him grow up and play in college and pro and everything. That was super cool as well.
Any good stories from those nights that you can share on the podcast, crashing on the couch of that hockey house?
That's not too many.
Or was that when they were at Oakland?
So the first year was when they were at Oakland, and and so the benefit was because I went to school at Holy Rosary out on the East End, and so it actually benefited me. Neil just dropped me off in the morning at school, and so my parents didn't have to drive the 30 minutes out there. And then the next year was when they were at their hockey house. That was the first year they had it. And so there was nothing really. It was like a Tuesday afternoon. I'd go stay over there. So nothing really, but I just remember sitting there watching Shark Tank with them. Those guys were all business majors. So they kind of understand what was going on. I was just clueless. I was probably 12 or something. I was clueless sitting there watching, but I had a great time with those guys. They just made me feel really comfortable hanging out with them.
How old were you at that time?
Let's see. I would have been I think I was like 6th grade or something.
Okay.
Yeah. 6th grade. 6th, 7th grade, maybe something like that.
6th, 7th grade. So you weren't there on the Fridays and Saturday nights at the hockey house.
Yeah,
they didn't let you around during those times.
No, I don't think I was allowed for those ones. But yeah, like a Tuesday afternoon, eating a pizza with my brother was a good night for me. So that's what I would do.
Joey, did you know Adam?
Yeah, kind of through Aaron and Neil a little bit, just in the summers, whether skating then or skating at Amsoil during COVID, just different skates, and it was always a blast when he was there. You could tell he brought the room up. He brought everyone up, just always joking. He was awesome to have around, and the little bit I knew him, it was pretty special, and I cherished that.
Where do you guys see his impact on the Bulldog hockey program and hockey in Northeast Minnesota? Because he was a Hibbing guy and Bulldogs, but it seemed like, again, we talk about the connection he's had with Hermantown guys and such. His reach was pretty far.
Yeah, I think it was a big impact. Like you said, like he shows that small town kind of mentality and stuff like that. His uncle and dad played here at UMD, I think. Yeah, uncle for sure.
Yeah,
I believe dad as well. So that too, just in that, like 3 guys out of that family from a small town, Hibbing. So that's super cool, and like it just shows. I think it shows a lot of kids in like the small towns like that how far they can really go with it and hockey and everything like that. And he was just a great kid. Like growing up in Hibbing, he was known around the state for being one of the best players in the state of Minnesota for hockey, and coming out of town of, I don't know what Hibbing is, maybe 3,000 to 5,000, something like that. It's super cool that you can do that. And then with years following with Scotty Prunovich and guys like that coming from the same town as well, it's so cool that small town connections like that happen here at UMD. That's one thing that we live on and strive on for our community to keep going.
Yeah, I think that's everything to build off that. But just growing up in a small town, it just shows that it can be done, and people are doing it. And I mean, he's pretty special. You see the video of him scoring a goal in the NHL, and that's every kid's dream. And so that, on top of just everything you hear about him, all the stories that were shared and how special of a person he was to be around, and that's just pretty special, I think. And people understand that. And then another thing is neck guards during games. Like you see that. We both wear them. You see guys on our team wearing them, guys on other college teams wearing them, and then that shows all the other youth players too that it's important, and it's there's nothing wrong with wearing a neck guard, that's for sure. And so that's another part of it that we see as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys that was actually good segue there, Joey. And my next topic that I want to talk about was the neck guards. You two are wearing them. Are any of your other teammates wearing them on games? I was like trying to go through photos, and I need to wear my glasses more at Amsoil Arena to see from the press box who's got them on and who doesn't.
Yeah, I think Aaron and I might be the most consistent with it, but I know Ty Hansen's been wearing them off and on. Aiden Dubinsky, Rather Bodnerchuk, guys have all worn them. Guys are trying different ones in practice. So I think guys are still feeling it out, and hopefully we get more doing it at some point.
Yeah, I think that's like the great thing about the new products and what they have out there now is it can be kind of hard to tell whether guys have them on or not. You two, why are you guys consistently wearing the neck guards? Why is that important for you?
Yeah, I think it was just biggest thing for me was a big eye opener. I mean, just how fun this game can be, and the connections, like we said, you make and everything like that you make with them, and how fast they can get turned around. And I think it hit so close to home for me, just with my brother, and that being one of his best college friends. And so he started wearing it, and I was just going to follow right in his footsteps with it. And it's something that I'm probably going to wear for the rest of my career. Just, I mean, like you said, it's nothing, you can't really notice it. So there's not a reason why I wouldn't wear it. And it's just that reassurance thing that you have something there to at least protect some sort of a skate blade or something, because you don't notice it. I think the weekend after he passed away, we were playing at home, and I took a skate off the face, and I was wearing a neck guard, but it just, even that, like I was like, that's still too close for comfort with not having anything around my neck, how vulnerable a spot that can be. So I think it's just a big eye opener for me mostly.
Joey, how about you?
Yeah, I think obviously this is a fun game and we love playing it every day, but there is danger that's involved with it. And so I think if we can do anything to maybe save that from happening to us, and hopefully being a role model to other people and saving that from happening to them as well, that's something we can do. And yeah, I don't have a problem with one at all. I don't find it uncomfortable or anything, and they are made very nice now, so they are comfortable, and we have the opportunity to wear them, and I think at least we both want to do that and we'll continue to do that.
I remember one of the series shortly after Adam's death, North Dakota was here, and it was cool bunch of North Dakota players were wearing them at that time, but they came back here this last year, and now guys all of a sudden aren't wearing them. You only see a handful of guys in the NHL that are wearing them. Aaron, you mentioned your brother Neil is wearing them. Joey Anderson, Carson Soucy. Not a coincidence, I think. Former teammates of Adams that are wearing them. The NCAA, like the NHL, decided not to make neck guards mandatory this past off season. They're mandatory almost everywhere else. My son plays up in Two Harbors. That hockey association got a generous donation, so we didn't have to pay for his neck guard shirt. He complained the first time I put it on him, but every time since then he's been fine. Why do you think they haven't caught on, especially with how the technology has advanced? Like, I remember last year, Luke Lohheit and Blake Biondi were like pulling out their old neck guards from youth, and they're those awful like collars. Now you're wearing mock turtlenecks out there, and instead, why do you think the neck protection has not caught on yet?
Yeah, I guess I'm not totally sure. Like you said, it's pretty much mandated in probably all European leagues and Canadian leagues and everything like that. And
I mean, even the AHL they're wearing them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My brother's a equipment manager there, and he had to order all their guys them. And maybe it was something quick where like it kind of came out and everyone kind of ran out of stock last year, especially. And maybe that's something to do with this year still, but I think I don't see, I guess, too good a reason why they shouldn't be a mandated thing. Just for that reassurance thing where, I mean, even if you're wearing the most strappable ones that go on, it cuts that exposure for your neck, I mean, by a lot. And so the chance of you taking something up there, if it's not as bad as something super serious like that, it's just going to be a little nick or something like that that'll help you a little bit. So I think it's something that, I mean, the AHL is doing it, and so I think you're going to have to get into them some point in most people's career. So I don't know why we didn't start now. It's happening juniors behind us, so like we're kind of in that middle ground where it's a league below us and a league above us. So I don't know, I guess why it wouldn't be a mandated thing for next year at least.
Yeah, and I think just having the mandates and having your son and all the youth hockey players wear them, it's just going to become normal. And so that's all people are going to know fairly soon here. And whether or not the NCAA changes that rule and mandates them, I think people are just going to wear them regardless after they've grown up wearing them and wear them in juniors now, and they have to wear them after college anyways. And so, yeah, I don't see why it'll take too long for that change to happen.
Yeah, I would think you're going to start seeing kids that are coming up through, kids that wear them in youth hockey and then junior hockey and then come to college, just going to keep wearing them. Probably not a bad idea to get used to them in college for guys that are here now, because you're going to have to wear them if you're going to play any pro leagues and such. So which brands are you guys wearing? What shirts are you guys wearing?
Yeah, I got a World one, and I love that thing. I had one of the CCM ones last year. The shirt, and it was really good. It worked well. And I got one of these World ones now. And so just, I guess, breathes a little better and a little more comfortable, but I had no problem with the CCM one last year. So just something around the neck feels good.
Joey, which one are you wearing?
Yeah, last year right away, the CCM ones were the ones that our team was able to provide pretty quickly. And so that was nice. So that's what I wore. And then we just a couple weeks ago, got the new version of the CCM ones as well, and they definitely made some changes that I'm a fan of, and I'm sure that's just going to keep happening, and they're just going to become better and better.
Yeah, they did not get the War Road ones in the Two Harbors Association. We get a coupon towards the War Road one, but I was like, sorry, Jack. We're going to get I think we got a Bauer one. I was like, we're going to get that one because it's free. You're 6 years old. You're going to grow out of this in a month. Maybe when you get older, you can get the nice War Road ones out there. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more with Aaron and Joey. You're listening to the Bulldog Insider Podcast.
Hi, I'm Maria Lockwood, a reporter with the Superior Telegram. Explore Superior and Douglas County history with me on Archive Dive, a monthly podcast available at superiortelegram.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back to the Bulldog Insider Podcast. I'm Matt Wellens, along with our guest this week, Aaron Pionk and Joey Pierce. We're going to kick off the second half of this episode with some social media questions. From Max. What's the best outdoor rink to skate at? And you can't say Hermantown.
I'd say, since being at school, the one we've used the most is the Glen Avon ones, just because they're close by. So that's where we've gone out for the most part. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. We're pretty happy with anything we can get right now with how the last couple of winters have been. So
yeah, you can't get picky about any outdoors. Glen Avon, I believe that would be the home of Andy Walensky. Grew up on those ones. Aaron, you got a response other than the Hermantown race?
Yeah, I'm going to change up a little bit, and there's two, I guess they're kind of the same, is Grand Rapids. They have the one with the roof over it.
Okay.
But I'll say the better one is in St. Louis Park.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, they have like the outdoor one, and they got a grandstand under the bleachers as well and stuff like that. So that one's super cool, like lights and everything. I played, I think, 1 or 2 games in there. It was like dark outside and the light. It was actually super cool. So I'd probably say that one.
That one.
Yeah.
Does it count as an outdoor rink if it's got a roof on it?
Yeah, it's got no walls. I mean, you can see outside. It could still snow sideways in there, but
it's a good point. It's Minnesota. It can snow sideways into there. As long as there's an opening, snow will find a way in. This one's from Duluth Bulldogs, Hockeytown, USA. Joey, how many times have you been kicked out of a hockey game? This is in honor of your slew foot the other night at Miami.
Saturday was the first game I've ever been kicked out of. I've had the only major penalties before this were fighting, but never been like a in play, even a major like a 5 or a 10 for anything. So yeah, this was new to me, and hopefully the last one.
Did you hear from your mom after that night, like anything like that?
Not really.
No? Okay.
She let me be.
She let you be. Okay. What about when you got the fighting majors?
Yeah, that one, I got to the locker room, and the first thing I did was text her that I was okay, because I knew she'd be losing it a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made sure I quickly let her know that I would be all right, and I wasn't kicked out, and I was going to go back and play. But they sent us to the locker room right away because you get 15 minutes in juniors. So.
Aaron, when was the last time you were kicked out of a game? Have you ever been kicked out of a game?
Yeah, mine was also a fight. That's probably the first and only time. Probably have gotten 1 or 2 majors, but yeah, mine was also a fight like that. And I think I did the same thing. I probably texted my brothers or something like that. I said, "First fight tonight, fellas," or something like that. And I don't know. But yeah, I think last one was fighting too.
Another one for Joey here from Bidco. And Aaron, you know a little bit about this, though we covered it, I think, on the last time you were on the podcast. What's it like switching positions so often? I would assume it takes a few games to adjust to how you play that position. I love that Biddy brought up the switching positions, because I feel like it's a running thing with Joey Pierce, the Swiss Army knife of the Bulldog. What's it like for you switching between forward and defenseman?
Yeah, I guess so. The first time the idea was even brought up was my freshman year. We were in Mankato. And Sandy just said, "Be ready," but then it didn't happen. I can't remember. Someone must have got hurt or kicked out or something. He just said maybe it's going to happen, but it didn't, and I never really thought much of it. And then the first time it happened, my sophomore year in Bemidji, I was definitely caught off guard. Didn't really know what to expect, I guess. But I think at the end of the day, it's just playing hockey, and I knew the coaches weren't going to be all over me about my positioning system-wise or anything, and so I just tried to keep my feet moving, and I think forechecking was the biggest thing that I felt like I could have an impact to, and just I know what it's like if someone's hitting the defenseman all night, and so that's kind of what I tried to do every time I got the chance, is get a piece of their body. It didn't have to be anything big. I think since then, I probably pay a little attention better when they're going over some systems for forwards, just so I feel like I'm ready, because it has happened more than once now, and it's not just a freak thing anymore, and I'm sure it'll happen again. And so, yeah, maybe just paying attention a little more. And then usually whoever I'm playing with, I probably annoy them a little bit, because I'm just constantly asking questions about where to go off a face-off win or loss or things like that, and they're always helpful, but I'm just constantly in their ear about asking things, what I should be doing. But yeah, the coaches are great about it. They let me play, and just they know that I can be effective if I'm not just out there like thinking too much. And so at the end of the day, like I said, it's hockey, and I feel fairly comfortable up there.
Aaron's the former forward here, but Joey, did you play any forward growing up?
Pretty young. I was probably mostly full-time D after I was like 10 or 12, but again, it was B hockey, and so I was kind of just all over the place. Yeah, I don't know.
Aaron, you weren't like offended that coach went to Joey to be that, because there was a time last year, there was that stint last year, you guys had a ton of injuries, and a lot of us thought like, well, they can move Aaron. Aaron's a former forward. They can move him up. Then they move Joey up. And we're all like, huh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Why weren't you the one moving up to forward? I mean, it's no offense. It's more fun watching Joey out there.
Yeah.
It is, but it was just an interesting move for.
Yeah.
And we asked Scott if any chance he'd play Aaron. Nope.
Yeah, no, I'd second that. I think it's just fun watching him go forecheck, and so I think they knew what they were doing like that. And like you said, like as a D, you know what it feels like to have someone just constantly like, coming in there and hitting you on the forecheck. And so I'm glad they picked him because I don't want to have to be the one to do that. So they picked the right person for that.
There's a couple times when he had been in my ear, like maybe you should tell him I'll take a face off or something. He was excited about that, but.
Joey, any chance you could play goalie in a game, complete the trifecta before your time at UMD's up?
I doubt it, but that'd be something.
Basically does already.
Basically does already. I was going to say, if all three goalies were all of a sudden unavailable at a game, could you play goalie, Joey, if you really had to?
I wouldn't say no. That definitely wouldn't be my answer. But maybe there'd be someone else that maybe has a little bit of experience or something. I know Ty Hansen likes to mess around like he's a goalie.
You'd still pick Joey?
Yeah.
You guys are also, this is like my thing. I'm kind of rooting for it. Man, it'd be fun to see Joey get a goalie in a game. Like 20 goal margin, throw Joey in there for 5 minutes. Who on the team you think, if weird road trip where you lost all three goalies or something, let's say one of the guys, Zach Sandy, got suspended or something like that. He seems like the guy maybe that would get into a fight out of the three and probably win. Who on the team could step in and be like an emergency goalie for a game?
I'd pick Joey. Oh man, who else?
In the spring, sometimes after the ice is out at Amsoil, we play roller hockey on the cement, and I know Riley Bodnerchuk's had a couple good stints at goal.
Riley Bodnerchuk's had a couple good stints?
I don't know about good stints. He's had some stints, but
he's got the size,
he's
right?
He's been my goalie. He doesn't move very well.
Oh, okay.
So he's had stints, maybe not good ones, but I'd put him in there too, probably.
I know Zach Sandy, last year Michigan was down a bunch of forwards, and they had a goalie suit up as forward to serve penalties and stuff, and Zach Sandy was very jealous of that kid. He said he wanted to go out there and warm-ups and just stick handle, and he would love that. So that was funny. Zach
Sandy's pushing to get in the lineup as a forward just one game. Just let him suit up as that's every goalie's dream, isn't it? Like every 100%. One of them. We joke about skaters having to be a goaltender, but every goalie is like, let me just have one game as a forward. They'd never pass. They'd just shoot the puck the entire time. All right, guys. I was surprised this question can throw out by listeners. I feel like it gets asked of every Hermantown kid. Mm-hmm. It's a rite of passage. Aaron, I think we asked you this last time. Should Hermantown move up to Class AA? Joey, you're the Ely native. You were at one time on the other side of this.
Yeah, I was. I don't know if I have that answer. I think for me, when we were moving, I think one of the decisions about if it was going to be Hermantown, if it was going to be a AA program, we didn't think about that too much. We thought about how they were producing players, and that was the impressive thing for us. And so I think if they can still produce the same amount of players and continue to do that on a regular basis and be a AA school, that'd be great. But I think if there's anything that's putting that in jeopardy, if they did move up, then I'd say the answer is no. I think, we obviously compete well in Class A and continue to do so, but they don't. I know they go to state almost every year. We're the team that didn't go to state. But they haven't been winning state championship every year. I don't know if that's the right answer or not. I'm not glad I'm not making that decision because I know it's not an easy one to make, and there is probably more that goes into it than even me and Aaron know. So,
you mentioned the development. You look at like Jason Shagabe from War Road. That program has produced a lot of really good players lately. We recently saw Cloquet come back to Class A this year. What programs would you guys love to see come back to Class A? We had a former sports reporter here at the News Tribune that wrote this great column one time that I always loved, and that was his argument, like end the opt-up and make, there's all these really good programs that have kind of disappeared when they went to AA. You don't hear from them as much anymore, and they were really good in single A, and it used to be super competitive. Who you guys want to see come back to single A? Did you convince Grand Rapids to ever come back?
Yeah, I was probably going to think with them just because, I mean, if I was in high school and I got to play Rapids in the section final, that'd be awesome. I mean, East too, that'd be cool too. Just play them in NAMs. That'd be awesome.
They're too big to go. I don't think they'd be allowed to come back. But yeah, East Rapids have been good games, but Hermantown Rapids in a section final, that would be something.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd probably think Rapids.
Yeah, we always had really good games with Rapids, both rinks. That was the one team we would play twice a year, and so we would always get to go up there, and they'd come down, and I don't think there's ever a game that wasn't close. And so, we were actually the one class that got to play East too. That was maybe a positive that came out of COVID, and so that was obviously a pretty special game just because there was, I guess, lack thereof history, but that was a special experience too to get to play them. Yeah,
everyone was excited for that game because
that's fun.
It just two programs wouldn't schedule each other, or maybe one program wouldn't schedule the other. And people were excited when that finally came around. Joey, we had talked about this. You grew up in Ely before moving to Hermantown. Can you take us through that story? You played with Ely High School your 8th grade year, right?
Yeah. I was born in Ely, and I played hockey in Ely, and that was all we knew. And then I think it was maybe around the time when Bantams came that we sort of thought about maybe doing something, just because at that time Ely didn't have a Bantam team. And so my second year, I played B, squirt Bs, PBBs, and I always moved up a year early just to have a little better competition. And then, so it would have been my second year PB year. We, my family and 2 or 3 other kids from Ely went and played Bantam Bs in Hoyt Lakes for 1 year. So Mesabi East was the team because that's their school. And then my 8th grade year, I played on the Ely High School team. My brother was a captain. That was a really special experience to get to play with him. And at the end of that year, different people and sort of mentors to our family and me were kind of saying, like, all right, now it's probably time to make some change. And there's a lot of different options thrown around, whether that was Shattuck or moving or other boarding schools or prep schools. My parents, most of my mom wasn't excited about me leaving home at all. And we were fortunate enough, my dad was able to work in this area. And so we could make the move to this area. And they kind of left that decision for what team or school it was going to be up to me. And I went on a visit to just Duluth East High School. And I was just super overwhelmed. I was in Ely where we had 30 kids in my grade, and then I walked around Duluth East High School, and I just really couldn't imagine myself being there. And I'm sure if I did go there, it all would have worked out. But we went and looked at Hermantown School, and that just felt a lot more comfortable for me as a school-wise. And then, like I said before, we just saw that Hermantown kept developing these college players and pro players, and that was something that was part of the decision. But for the biggest part, I'd say, was just the school size and my comfortability. And so I was pretty fortunate my parents could make that sacrifice and make that move. And I'm really lucky and glad I made that decision because I think it was one of the better ones I've ever made.
And Aaron, you were happy to get Joey as a teammate there, huh?
Yeah. I didn't. I guess I didn't know him at all before that, and then I think the only one that might have known you was Blake. And then I think it was first day of school. It was the first day I probably met you. Sophomore year? No, freshman year. Yeah. And it was like me, Joey, and then Camper Truce was sitting next to him because we all had PI last names. So we all sat next to each other. I think it was the first day we ever met each other. The rest is history after that. But yeah, excited for it.
All right. We're going to do a little game to close out this episode in honor of Thanksgiving. I'm going to have you guys give me the teammate from either UMD or Hermantown. Well, we got enough Hermantown listeners on this podcast too. Actually, I don't think these are nice when people say this is Hawks Insider. I think those people are complaining about the Hermantown guests we bring on. But the teammate you would trust the most to cook a turkey at Thanksgiving?
I guess quick answer, Riley Bodnerchuk.
Riley Bodnerchuk?
I'm not taking, he's Canadian. I'm not taking that. I'm going back to like sophomore year of high school to see what I can think of here. I guess I can do 2 for 1. I'll do Darian Goats.
Darian Goats.
I play with them both, but I don't know. I think he's pretty good in the kitchen, and he always seemed pretty excited for or Matthew Thiessen, one of those two. I don't know. That'd be a pretty good one.
Thiessen was a good cook too.
Yeah, he was more of the baker, so like he'd always get the pies and everything going and get those right while Darian cooked the rest of the food. So I don't know, I'd probably say Darian.
Okay, well that's on my list. The teammate pastor present in charge of desserts. That's Thiessen.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Definitely Thiessen.
He'll get you. He's got his special bars and everything like that. So
Special bars.
Yeah.
Well, what are those?
Well, he had a couple ones going. He had this cookbook, and it was hilarious. He'd break it out as like this old cookbook that he always saved for him. There's just a bunch of baking dishes. We had these, like these power balls that he always used to make. I claimed they were healthy. That's up for debate. He always made. I don't know. He liked to bake, and so he did a lot, and so it's good.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving dessert?
I like pie, so I'd say pretty much most pies.
Just any pie.
Yeah,
just give you a piece of pie.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'd
Aaron,
go pumpkin pie.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of like any other pies really besides pumpkin, and it's got to be like same whipped cream to pumpkin pie ratio. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the teammate that you would put in charge of sides? So this is the guy that we don't trust you with a turkey. That's a little advanced, but yeah, you could do sides. You could handle sides.
I might go another Canadian and say Braden Fisher.
Braden Fisher.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty trusty guy. And
Trusty guy.
if he had the steps to do it, he could get it done pretty well.
If he had the instructions laid out in front of him, he could do it. That's me as a cook. I think too. I need specific instructions. For cooking, I can't bake. If baking is like too much precision, screw that up. So, kudos to Thiessen for being able to bake.
I'd go. I mean, last year they did, and it was a 2-for-1, and it was good. Bodnerchuk and Dubinsky both did it was like a sweet potato. Oh, what was it? I think like a sweet potato casserole of some sort. Okay. It was like a sweet potato like puree basically with like some marshmallows on top. It was super good. And they were in charge of the sides, I think last year, some of them. So I'd probably just go both of them, or if I had to pick one, probably Dubinsky. Yeah.
And this is the Wisconsin in me coming out right now. Because every Wisconsin family has this person. Who's the teammate in charge of mixing drinks on Thanksgiving? Who's the bartender? Do you have any craft cocktail snobs on the team, or cocktail snobs on the team? No, really. I don't think so.
No. I'm just gonna rep the hip and say Zach Sandy.
Zach Sandy.
yeah. Probably.
That's the guy you think could handle mixing drinks for everyone.
I think he stays away from the food department in my book. Yeah, so I think I'd keep him with the drinks and let him go from there. I don't know.
I think he might enjoy doing it, but I don't know how much guys would enjoy his drinks.
Yeah. He'd have a great time with it. I think that's the best part of it.
Is he making them too strong?
Probably.
Too strong.
Too strong.
Too strong. Yeah.
But I think it would kind of just be all over one would be pretty strong, and the next one would be pretty soft. So I don't know.
I'm from Wisconsin. Every drink is strong. It's all brandy. Teammate most likely to start a fight by bringing up politics.
Jack Smith.
Yeah.
Jack Smith.
It seems like
every family has that one person at a holiday that decides to bring up politics and starts a fight.
He'd say his opinion, and if someone didn't agree, he'd be more than happy to
start an argument with him, debate him.
Yeah. I'd say either Jack or Canadian, but I'd say Luke Bass. He's got a lot of takes, and I don't know if they're all right, but he'll throw them out there and see what hits, and if not, he'll fight it. But I don't know. One of those two.
Yeah, we've had him on the podcast. He dissed the red pepper right before playing North Dakota. So I can see that. Whose house should host Thanksgiving dinner? Like which of your teammates have the best digs in Duluth this season?
Like hockey house or
hockey house? Hockey house.
Gotta be ours.
I think our house.
Your house?
It's been kind of the last, at least as long as I've been here, we've hosted Thanksgiving with whoever's in town, and so it's a good setup. We can get outside and throw the football if we want, and we can all sit on the couch and watch football as well. So
who are you guys all rooming with this year? We don't need you giving out any addresses. We don't need stalkers showing up at your house, especially now that they know you host a good Thanksgiving. Who are you guys all living with this year?
It's me, Aaron, Brady Fisher, Anthony Mangini, and Clayton Knapp.
Okay. That's good. You guys are all theoretically going to be around town for a few years. That always helps, trying to find a roommate. All right, last question. And again, we're going to go past or present, Hermantown or UMD. Whose parents would you gladly accept a Thanksgiving invite from? If you weren't having, obviously with your own families.
Oh, past or present.
We had some good team dinners at the Beyondies.
At the Beyondies, okay.
So those are always good. And then this year we've been having some team dinners at the Hansons, and so those have been great as well. And so I'd say those are the two picks I have.
Yeah, man. I'd like, for family's sake, just to be there, I'd probably go Zach Sandy, just to be with all the Sandys. I think that'd be a fun time. I don't know. His brothers come down pretty regularly, so we've got to know them pretty good. And so I think hanging out with those guys and their family would be super fun around the Thanksgiving table.
That'd be a fun holiday.
Yeah, there'd be some good stories in there. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, as we said in the podcast earlier to start the season, it's a shame the Plants got rid of their Hermantown house. You guys don't have that place. You can all go and invade. The brothers claimed that was strategic by their parents to sell that before
Smart,
they hit college. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for coming on the podcast, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
The Bulldog Insider Podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Like us, subscribe, and rate us. For more Bulldogs hockey coverage, visit DuluthNewsTribune.com/Bulldog Insider. Subscribe to gain access to all of our coverage all season long. Checked in with Zach. Sorry, Zach, if I get this completely wrong. No TV coverage of the women's series against Bemidji State, but both games against Western Michigan will be on My9 Sports this weekend. And then next week, My9 Sports is scheduled to have the women's Thanksgiving series against Vermont. Speaking of Thanksgiving, the podcast is taking the week off, so we will be back in 2 weeks. Thanks, everyone, for listening.